Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. If you can see and hear me, let me know. If you can see and hear me, let me know. It is nasty outside right now. It is nasty outside in Atlanta. So hopefully the Wi-Fi plays nice. As you come in, let me know if you can see and hear me. It is storming outside and I want to make sure that the connection is good. Is it Natu or Natal? Or am I doing too much with both? I'm just posting on Instagram so they can know that I'm over here. I thought I was Superwoman today. I got a long list of things to do. This live was originally supposed to be 2:30, but then a client call ran over and I had to get a little bit of breathing room in between. So here we are. Here we are. Hey, Natasha. Okay, so it is not two. Today is gonna be super good. It's not gonna be super long either, and I mean that because I have a call at 4. So we are gonna get into some things. We are gonna get started as soon as I post this link on my Instagram. We're gonna get into it. So as you can see by the title, we are talking all about how building a community can skyrocket your business. And I think it's a part of the puzzle that a lot of people miss. A lot of entrepreneurs miss this part, or you find out about it too late. So I wanted to talk about it a little bit today because it could essentially be the missing piece to the puzzle for you to get the results that you've been aiming for. Hey, Sierra. So where's everyone checking in from? Drop it in the chat. Where are you checking in from? I know it's midday. Some of us are probably at work, but I know y'all are probably still watching YouTube on the side. So if you're watching the replay of this, comment and let me know that you are a part of the replay crew. But if you're here live, let me know where you're checking in from. Let me know what city and state or location you're checking in from. And we are going to get started. I think the first one I said was Natal, right? I love that. Okay, New York, Nashville, Dallas, Charlotte. Hey, Tasha. Peach said, I've been feeling like I'm supposed to build some type of community for women. Sierra said, Maryland. Okay. So before we hop into things, what is your definition of community? I actually asked this in my new membership community. I like to call it a mentorship community more than a membership, but structure wise, it's set up like a membership where you can come in. We do weekly sessions. You're able to like binge on the resources that we have in there, the replays. There's the community aspect with all of the other women that's in there, all the things. But I also like to call it a mentorship because it's literally me teaching them everything that I had to learn to get to the level that I'm at, right? And once I perfect this level and I move on to the next level, they'll be able to learn those things as well. And so within Bomb CEO, I actually asked them what's the meaning of community to them. And I'm interested in what your answer is as well. So in the chat, real quick, put what does community mean to you? And you can think of it from a brand perspective. You can think of it from a personal perspective. Whatever perspective the answer comes easiest to you, let me know what community means to you in the chat. Let me know. I'm interested. I want to see if I got the right people in here. I saw, Peach, that you said the thing about building a mentorship for women. So don't worry about that. We will touch on that a little bit. Natal said, what is the price for your membership community? It is actually $97. Uh-oh. Am I off mute now? Can y'all hear me now? I don't know what the heck is going on. I just said a whole essay, a whole spill, and nobody heard me. So Natal, I said that the community is $97 a month. So it's less than $4 a day, and it comes with a lot of perks and features. I was saying that I recently opened it back up today, actually, and it's open for 3 days. Originally, we opened it up for inaugural membership a few weeks ago, and then we closed it for a few weeks. And since closing, we actually held 4 sessions. So from our first enrollment, we've held 4 sessions so far. We've talked about mindset and habit building, the 7 characteristics to a bomb CEO. We then had a Q&A kind of audit and feedback session. We then built out our brand fundamentals. And then we built out our full target audience profile. So our full ideal customer profile. We sat together for 2.5 hours last week, and everyone mapped out their ideal customer profile. So those sessions go super in depth. And if you join Bomb CEO today or over the next 3 days, you actually get access to those replays. And I asked the members last week if they felt like they got their money's worth, and everybody was like, girl, I got my money's worth times 10 already. So if you've been, interested in joining, or you heard about it and maybe we were closed during that time, we are open for the next 3 days. So definitely join Bomb CEO. The cool thing is, if it's not a great fit for you, you can always leave. But I guarantee that if you like my style of teaching, if you know that you want to hit 6 figures or possibly multi 6 figures, and you know that it's going to take you building a profitable brand, the right mindset, the right habits to do so, then I am your girl. Okay. So I'm so sorry for all the technical difficulties. I just tried to run through everything that I said in my first full speech. So hopefully I addressed everything. Y'all can hear me now. Cool. Let me see. Pete said, community is having a group or resource that supports and upholds you. Sierra said, a group of like-minded individuals that share the same pain points, lifestyle, etc., that connect with your brand. I love that. Let's see what else we got. The chocolate journalist said, a group of like-minded individuals with similar goals. Okay, cool. So now put a 1 in the chat if you have already been utilizing community to build your brand. Have you already been utilizing community? Put a 1. If you know that you haven't and you need to improve, put a 2. So if you've already been using community, put a 1 to build your brand specifically. If you've already been using community to build your brand, put a 1. If you know that you could be doing better, put a 2 in the chat. Let me see. Okay, so Natal said, yes, I have. Dejan said 2. Let me see where everybody's at. 2, Natasha, 2, Peach. All right. So there are several different, hey, Fiera, there are several different ways that you can build community, right? Community in itself is like what you've all been saying. It's a group of like-minded individuals, or it's a group of people who have similar pain points, so on and so forth. But from a CEO perspective or from a business owner perspective, community is kind of like an experience, right? So when you think about building a brand, I like to think that there are 7 important components to every successful brand. All of the major brands that you know of, like Fenty, Target, heck, Chick-fil-A, any of those brands, they all have something in common, and that's because they've already mastered, first they mapped it out, then they mastered 7 components within their brand. And one of those specific components is an experience, right? And so when it comes to experience, it's really what you want people to think, feel the vibe. You want certain emotions to be evoked when they interact with your brand. You want them to have a certain experience, right? And so whether that experience be that you want them to feel like they are welcomed, whether you want them to feel supported, whether you want them to feel like, hey, we about to go get it. It doesn't matter what you've been through. Whether you want them to feel high end or give them a luxury experience, feel super, super cared for and attended to. Whatever experiences that you want to create, you need to make sure that you define that for your brand and you take certain actions to build out that experience. And one of the biggest contributors to building an experience is community. And now more than ever, right? Now more than ever, it is important to build community. Back in the day, right, we had brands that could build a certain experience simply, by just putting out certain types of ads in the newspaper or showing certain commercials or sponsoring certain events. But now, guess what? Our consumers have changed. Our consumers now value authenticity. Our consumers now value being in the know. They value connection with you. Do y'all agree? As a consumer yourself, because yes, you own a business, but you also consume stuff every single day. You buy from other brands, you shop with other brands, and so you consume stuff every single day. Do you believe that now, more than ever, you value connection? You value learning about the authentic side of the brand. You want to know the who, what, why before they take your money. Yes? Put yes in the chat if you agree. Put yes in the chat if you agree that you value connection and authenticity and all the things. Put yes in the chat. Natal said, I belong to the Obadobo. Wait, I can't say that. It's a long name. On YouTube, she has done a lot for Africans in diaspora. So for her birthday, I gifted her body oils that I sell, and she made a review and sales has boomed. That's a good use of community. That's good. Okay. So yes, right? Yes, we make certain decisions now based off of the connection and authenticity. And so a big mistake that small business owners make is because we have like this superwoman cape on. And I'm guilty of this sometimes too, right? Because we have this superwoman cape on, we think that we need to do and be all of the things. So immediately when we think about building connection and being authentic and all the things, we think that we are the only people who can do that for our brand. We think that we need to come on there and talk all about our life or come on there and have these heart-to-hearts all of the time in order to build a connection, in order to be authentic. And that is not true, right? Because although that is helpful and that does help, right? Although it's helpful, we have the power of community that we can utilize. What better way to give an experience, or what better way to really give a gun-ho connection, to really build an authentic connection, than to show that the tribe that you've built around your brand are like-minded and they can support each other too? What better way? So the example that Natal just gave, where she talked about the body oils that the person talked about the body oils that she gifted her for her birthday, and that person's community came and flooded Natal with sales. That is a great example of that young lady's community. Now imagine, Natal, if you can replicate something on your end and it can give you the benefit that it gave her. Imagine if building a community can help you make more sales. Or imagine if building a community can help you gain more brand awareness, because those people within your community will spread the word for you. I like to call them dedicated cheerleaders. And if they buy from you as well, which they should, they're dedicated customers and dedicated cheerleaders. And so these people literally love your brand so much that they become advocates for you. Think about it. How amazing would that feel? How amazing would it feel if you didn't have to always be the one saying, I'm selling this, it solves this problem. I really want to create this experience for, women who are going through XYZ. And, I did this and I did that and all the things. And you have to overexert yourself. Imagine how great it would be if you can sometimes get on live, present a topic, and people pitch in and talk. Imagine how it could be if you can host a virtual like networking event or a virtual tea sip or whatever the case may be. And those women can talk. Imagine how it could be if you can invite people within your followers or invite past customers and have them share their stories and them share their experience. And because your community is so strong, they connect with them and then they do whatever the action is that you want them to take. A great example of this is one of my past clients who owns a feminine care brand, Zion Organic Essentials. She used to do a live series on Instagram, and it was like girl talk. And she would come on there and they would talk about like just different things. She pulled some people on there. I think it was 1 or 2 guests every week or every time she did it. I want to say it was every 2 weeks. And it'll be people in the comments like crazy, sharing their stories, relating and all this stuff. And it just made it so easy. All she had to do was get cute, show up, and open up the gates, right? And so when you focus on the entire experience, especially when you hone in, since we're talking specifically about community, when you focus and you hone in on building community, things become easier for you. And one of the major ways, because this is a multi-layered subject, right? But I'm going to try to give y'all as much information as you can to know what action steps you need to take. Although I can't sit here and break down everything for you and break down how to do this and how to do that, I'm trying to give you what it is that you need to know so you can know what you need to do. Now, how you do it is based on you. You can do it by yourself, or you can, get my help by joining BCEO, because tonight we literally are talking all about community and we are breaking it into different parts, right? We're breaking it into parts because with building a profitable brand, it is a lot of layers. With running a business, it's a lot of layers. And so what I found is that when we break it down part by part, we're able to experience extreme wins week after week. And we actually share wins on the live week after week. We have someone who met her sales goal. We have someone who's currently planning her first in-person event. We have someone who got a contract to be able to go into her community and host workshops for girls in her community to be able to then sell her tween period products. Like, we have people experiencing real wins in BCEO, and we literally only have been open for like a month. Like, I think we're just about to hit a month today or something. And so I, want you to experience those wins. I want you to actually execute, but I don't have the capacity to sit on YouTube Live for 2.5 hours and break things down for you step by step, bit by bit, because that's the benefit of being one of my mentees in BCEO, right? That's the benefit, where I can sit on there for as long as we need to. We're going to sit and we're going to hash this out. And I break it down into bite-sized pieces. So tonight we're talking about community and we're doing part 1 because I want them to be able to actually and successfully execute the steps. I don't want it to be information overload. Every single time we have a session, there's action steps that have to be completed. And we do a good amount of those action steps on the actual session itself so that you're getting things done. So last week, they walked away with their full ideal persona. I'll show you like what a full persona can look like so you can see how detailed it is. But they walked away with that full persona. Before then, they walked away with the brand building blocks. And for each building block, they had either an activity to complete, an action to take within their business, or they already had the answer for what their building block would be, right? So we're all about taking action. So when I share with you these things today, I'm sharing with you in hopes that you will do what it takes to take the proper action. And if you know that you need help with doing the step-by-step and getting the nitty-gritty, and you want someone to give you extreme clarity and show you examples and all the things, then definitely join Bomb CEO, because it is opened right now for 3 days, okay? But I'm going to show you within Bomb CEO. Oh, it's my computer. It's moving super slow. It froze again. Every time I try to share my screen, it freezes. So it doesn't want me to share my screen with y'all. So y'all just gonna have to join Bomb CEO to see everything that I'm talking about. But I wanted to say that the full audience persona, you need to be as detailed as possible. And that honestly brings me into the first step of being able to build a community, is you got to know who needs to be in your community. So do you know who needs to be in your community? Put a 1 if you know who needs to be in your community. Put a 2 if you're not clear on who your target audience is, who your ideal customer is. Put a 2 if you're not clear on that. Put 1 if you already know who should be in your community. And I'm going to have to just show y'all on my phone because my computer doesn't want to let me be great and show y'all this detailed persona that you need to have. Put a 1 if you know who should be in your community. Put a 2. All right. So now for all the 1s, tell me who is your ideal customer. All the 1s, who's your ideal customer? Put it in the chat. Who's your ideal customer? Because what I'm about to show you is going to possibly blow your mind. I think it's going to blow your mind, but you tell me, who's your ideal customer? Write it out in the chat right now. Everybody's saying 1, 1, 1. I know who needs to be in my community. Write it out in the chat right now. Who should be in your community? Who is your ideal customer? So put, my ideal customer is blank. Put, my ideal customer is blank. Put it in the chat. I want to see, and I want to see if y'all know what y'all are talking about. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. Realtor / bride to be, Fiera. Natasha said hairstylist. Peach said women that own or aspire to open a successful service-based company. Okay. Natasha, hairstylist. What does that mean? Realtors and bride to be. What does that mean? Is this luxury real estate? Is this commercial? Is this like what does that mean? Bride to be, how soon is the wedding? How old are they? What's the age range? Peach, women that own to aspire to open a successful service-based company. Okay, what type of service-based company? Like you said, who own or aspire. So now you got 2 separate. That's 2 separate things. You can have one main target audience, but it sounds like you have 2 separate personas. Sierra, women that enjoy luxury and invested in quality products for their skin. This is not detailed enough, right? So let me tell you how detailed you actually need to get. Let me tell you how detailed you actually need to get with your target audience profile. Y'all see my screen? Y'all see my screen? I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. And if you're on your phone, you may have to turn to the side, right? Do y'all see my screen? Yes, yes, yes. Put yes. Let me make sure that you can see it. Put yes. Let me make sure that you can see it. It's kind of blocking my face. Oh. No, it's not. Put yes, because I'm only going to keep this up for like 30 seconds. Can you see my screen? Yes. Okay, perfect. So I want you to look at this. These are my personas. So Peach, you mentioned you need 2 personas built out. I have 3. Why? This is for my main brand. I have one built out for HBU as well. And any of my clients that I work with, we build out something fully detailed, right? right? Sierra said, I actually created this from one of your other videos. Great, Sierra. So you know that I can help, right? So you want it to be this detailed where you have the age, you have the salary, what type of job they have, their favorites, decision triggers. What do they think? What are they feeling? And for you, especially you, if you have a persona, like 2 different personas or 3 different personas, you need to split them up. And then you need to actually name them, right? So you need to actually have full details like this. Okay? You need to have full details like this. That is what it should look like. And then when I ask you who's your ideal customer, y'all are saying, oh yeah, I got it written down somewhere and blah, blah. That's not good enough. If you were to meet somebody on the street today, you need to have something bundled together into a 1-minute pitch that you can give them. Or you need to be able to say, I offer XYZ or I sell XYZ for this specific type of person to help them get to their desired point. Insert desired point here. That's what you should have typed in the chat. But for everybody who's like, oh, I thought it was too long and you need to be able to have something specific. So that way, if I was your ideal customer, what you tell me right now will allow me to say, okay, I need what you got. Does that make sense? So you're going around telling people, okay, well, yeah, my ideal customer are hairstylists, or my ideal customers are commercial realtors, or my ideal customers are people who want to start this or who own this. You know how many of your ideal customers will continue to walk past you? And if I, as your ideal customer, have to probe you with questions to figure out if you are a right fit for me, that's too much work for me. That's too much work. So you need to have the fully researched build out, like how I just showed you, pages on top of pages, and then go a level deeper to figure out, okay, how can I communicate with them? What messaging should I deliver to them? So on and so forth. But then you need to figure out what's the short, condensed, quick way of telling somebody what it is that they need to know. So that way I can say, ooh, I got a cousin who would be perfect for you. I got a cousin who needs that. Everything that y'all listed in this chat, I don't got nobody for y'all because it was so basic and it was so generic. I still don't know who it is that you are wanting to attract. And so if you are not that specific and concise, you cannot build community. Why? Because your community, your potential community members, they're not going to wait to see a full research list like I just showed you. They're going to want to hear it in the messaging. They're going to want to see it in the content. They're going to want to hear it from your mouth if you meet them in person. They're going to want to hear it from you in a way that makes sense for them. So Sierra put, Olivia is a confident and ambitious 20-year-old marketing manager who seeks luxurious self-care products that deliver real skin benefits and unique fragrances fitting her sophisticated tastes and active lifestyle. Thanks for that, Sierra. Now, how would you tell me that? If you were to meet me, whether it's virtually or physically, how would you tell me that? If I was somebody you didn't know and I could potentially be your ideal customer, how would you tell me that? What problems is it that you solve for me? How do you support me? How will your product or your brand get me from where I'm at to where I want to be? That is what needs to be in that statement. So that's great that you have that, right? And you gave me, I guess, the short version of what you have written down. But now you need to put it into a way that makes sense for the end consumer, for your end consumer. So think about that, okay? So think about that and think about who needs to be within your community. And if you put a 1 and you're like, girl, I don't have a full research document that's 3 pages like you, or girl, I do not know how I would present this to somebody if they were in front of me, like my ideal customer. I don't know what I would say to them. I honestly don't have a pitch. I don't know how to frame this. Then we need to work on that. Okay? We need to work on that ASAP Rocky, because you should have that. And so when it comes to building community, there are several different ways that you can build community. You can build community through an email list. You can build community through SMS. You can build community through different groups, whether it's a Facebook group. I think Instagram group has groups now. Whether it's like, a clubhouse or something like that, you can build community through actual groups. You can build community through having events. These can be virtual or these can be in-person events, right? Where maybe virtually it's lives or Zooms or something like that. In person, obviously, it's a full event that you put on, whatever type of event you want it to be. It could be something as casual as tea and chat. It could be something as bougie as a full-fledged luxury dinner or something. Whatever it is that fits your brand and fits your per se. There are different types of community that you can build, okay? And so what you want to do after you've identified who needs to be in your community, you need to then identify what type of community it is that you want to build. The only way I can tell you that answer is if I knew more about your brand, but I save that type of stuff for people when they work with me, right? Because if I sat here and I went through everybody on this live and I helped you figure it out, we'd be here forever, and that wouldn't be fair to the members of Bomb CEO, right? And so you want to figure out what type of community that you want to build. One of my favorite ways, and possibly the easiest way to build community, is going to be by building an email list. But before we get into the effectiveness of emails and why I say it's the easiest or the fastest way to build community, let's talk about why community matters. So what do you think community can do for your business? What do you think community can do for your business? What do you think community can do for your brand? What do you think? Drop it in the chat. And while you're dropping it in the chat, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what community has done for me. Okay? So I'm going to share 2 different times, and community has shown up for me a lot of times, but I want to share 2 specific times where I was blown away by the results that my community got me. And I know y'all love to talk about money, even though it's not all about money. I get it. And my name is the Brand Hustler, so I get it. Y'all love to talk about money. So I'm about to talk about money with y'all, okay? We are going to talk about how my community allowed me to make more money, okay? But I want y'all to put in the chat, what do you think the benefit of community is for your business and your brand? Put it in the chat. I want to see at least one person's response. And this type of call and response and feedback is the type of stuff that I give, and the type of help and feedback and guidance that I give to the entrepreneurs within Bomb CEO. So put it in the chat. Let me see. Peach said, does it build trust? I like how you phrase that in a question because you didn't want to say it and it be wrong. I like that. But yes, that is one of the ways. Natasha said, can I ask the question again? Yes. What does building a community do for your brand and your business? So brand and business are 2 different things. Hopefully you know the difference. If not, we got to talk about that. But what does it do for your brand and for your business? It helps build credibility and they promote your business for you. Yeah, exactly. And I talked about that a little bit earlier. It builds a know, like, trust factor and can possibly generate sales. Chocolate journalist, I want you to switch possibly to absolutely generate sales. And I'm going to tell you how. So the first story that I want to share with you, I want to take you back. What was this? 1.5 to 2 years ago, right? This was the first time where I recognized how my community could show up. Well, actually, it was like, that wasn't the first time. The first time was when I made consecutive, I think, $12,000 months. And I wasn't even giving 150%, like, or 100% at all. Like, When I saw how people showed up for my brand and how they missed it and all that, that was the first time I saw how powerful community was. But since we're talking about money, one of the first times where I saw how community can show up and make me money was about 1.5 to 2 years ago, right? So I went through this period of time where I was in an intense planning season. I wasn't really launching anything. I was just planning. And I came out with it was the first time ever that I wanted to release this particular type of thing. It was actually a workshop, the very first time that I wanted to do a workshop, right? And I decided that I was going to have a workshop, and I was like, okay, maybe like 20, 30 people will sign up. It's the first time I'm doing something like this, whoop, whoop, whoop. But I know that they need help with this particular thing that I am going to position this virtual product to be, right? Because we know that you can do digital products, physical products, all the things, brands, they're built almost the same way, almost identical. All right. So back then I came up with this idea for this workshop, this digital product, and I went to work on it. Right. But then I was a little like, I shortchanged myself saying that only like 20 people ish would sign up. But I was like, all right, let me just focus on making sure that I'm nurturing my community, making sure that people know that I solved this particular problem, making sure that I'm building a, community who can support each other, so on and so forth. And so what I started to do was I built an email list specifically for that thing. So I built an email list specifically for this thing. And when they joined the email list, I started to send out super authentic emails to them, right? I had all this mapped out and scheduled. During my planning time, I went to work, okay? I had all this mapped out and scheduled. I started sending all of these authentic emails to people, and I had it timed out to a T. And within those authentic emails, sometimes I gave like super duper valuable things away for free, whether it was a free downloadable or something like that, right? So I had all of these emails mapped out and text messages mapped out, and it was going to the people who had joined for that specific list, right? And so when it came time for me to open up the doors for people to sign up, my intention was that I would open it up to the people who were on the specific list first before announcing it to the public. Now, remember when I say that my goal initially was like, not my goal, but I thought only like 20 people were going to like sign up in totality. So I'm like, all right, maybe when I open it up, to the VIPs on the list, maybe 5 or 10 of them will sign up. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Can y'all guess how many people actually signed up? My list was roughly, I think it was maybe 90 something people on that list, 90 something people at the time, because I had only been building this list for maybe like 2 weeks or something. It was about 90 something people, maybe 100 on the head on that list. And so I'm like, okay, conversion rates, like naturally, if you look at the typical conversion rate from email, one, you got to look at your open rates. And so if the average open rate is, let's say, random number, 30%, that means out of 100 people, only 30% are naturally opening up my emails, right? Statistically. And so out of those 30 people who open the emails, I'm thinking a percentage of those people will actually sign up for the actual, early kind of like launch or VIP access period. I'm thinking only a percentage of those 30 people will actually shop, which is why I'm thinking, okay, maybe like 5 people off of the VIP list. And I'm just going to have to push really hard to the public to get the remaining 15. Can y'all guess? Londa, 1,000 doesn't make sense if it was 100 people on the list. So it was 100 people on the list that I sent early access to. 100 people. Out of the 100 people, how many people do you think signed up? Okay, so 1,000 doesn't make sense. I didn't have 1,000 people on the list. All right, let me see. Who else wants to guess? Take a guess. So I built a list over the course of about 2 weeks or so and had been giving them these genuine, authentic nuggets via email, via text message. And then I allowed them to shop a day before everybody else. I opened it up to them a day before everybody else. And how many people do you think signed up? All right. 98 out of 100. All right. 80. Okay. So that just showed me two things, but I'll talk about that later. So out of the 100 people who I had on my list, remember that your average open rate for emails naturally is around 25% or something like that, right? And so out of those people that opened, then there's a percentage that will actually sign up. Luckily for me, because I had been nurturing them throughout that whole time, my open rates were extremely high. My open rates were about 65%. So that means roughly 65 people were opening up my emails. That's about 2 to 3 times the average for my industry. So that says a lot right there. Outside of that, right, I actually got 70 people to sign up when I opened up the doors. 70 people to sign up for the early bird. So many people signed up that I then had to restrict the public registration because I didn't want to do that large amount, and I definitely didn't want to do more than 100. So 70 people from my community showed up. And what did that equate to, right? That equated to $11,000. That's one of the times where my community showed up for me. One of the times where my community showed up for me, $11,000. How many people would be happy if you built a community that's honestly 100 is small, and you can make $11,000 from a community that small? How would you feel? Put it in the chat. How would you feel? How would you feel? Put it in the chat. If you could build an email list with only 100 people and make $11,000, do you understand what that is? Do you understand the value of those people in the community? Let me do quick math real quick. 11,000 by 100 people gives me $110 worth of a value to somebody's head, pretty much. So every person that's in my community at that time was worth $110. How many of y'all have been struggling to build your email list? Or how many of y'all have an email list that's not even worth sending an email to because nothing comes from it? How crazy would it be if you can literally say that certain people are meant for your brand, and those people are attracted to your brand, they find you, you deliver a certain experience, you build community, and then they show up for you in a crazy way like that? Some of y'all are struggling to get people to pay $5. Some of you are struggling to even build an email list with 50 people. My current email list has 22,000 people on it. So the example I just gave you was a fraction where I built a sub-community with intentionality. You got to be intentional about community. So that goes back to when I asked who is meant for your community. You need to specifically be able to outline that. And if there are different personas within your audience, you need to outline that, because guess what? Those different personas can have their own sub community, and that makes your messaging even more powerful. That makes your results even more great. That makes them love you even more. $11,000 from 100 people on a list is insane. Especially when the average ROI for an email is about $40 per email sent or $40 per person or something like that. I forgot what it is, but it's about $40. To get 110 off of, everybody's head pretty much is crazy. I'm going to tell you about a second time, right? A second time where I actually saw that community showed up for me again. I'm going to tell you a second time. This time, it wasn't the amount of money, it was the amount of orders. Okay? And I actually have a recent time that this happened too, when I built community with my new brand, but that's a whole nother story, right? I like to tell stories after it's concrete and all that type of stuff. That's a little fresh still, but it's still something to brag about. You know what I'm saying? I literally was going through HBU because I've been out of it because of spring, and I got this comeback plan that I'm doing. And I was looking at just how many people have missed the community over there on HBU. And HBU launched in February. And there's people like, oh my goodness, when are you going to come back? When are you going to do another one of these? Or when da, da, da. I'm looking at how people used to comment and engage on posts and all that type of stuff, or even respond back to our emails. And we send our emails from Klaviyo. And there's so many people who respond back to our emails simply because we are intentionally building community, right? And my goal, honestly, for HBU was to build a text community where people could respond back to it and we can have conversations and so on and so forth. But that's me. That's my brand. And because of what the experiences that I want to create for that. Now, let me talk about this second story that I want to share with you, right? Because I had another product, and literally what I did is I built community, yes, via email list, but this time I focused on building community via Instagram. I created a close friends list. I also did a lot of engagement on my stories, all the things. And then when it was time for me to sell that product, everybody who purchased that product, I put their name up on a wall. And I basically was like, if you see your name on the wall, DM me or screenshot and send it to me or whatever. And then people would respond and be like, that's me. And I would repost it and all that type of stuff. Guess what that did? Not only did that create FOMO, but it also helped build community. People who didn't even know that they had something in common with somebody else, they were able to see that simply because I put up a wall, but then also because I had a close friends where I was sharing certain information with them versus what I shared with the public. I was being super strategic. And then I had an email campaign to back it up as well. And so the result of that was I ended up getting 100 orders in 1 week. 100 orders in 1 week. And if you join BCEO, I'll actually show you the wall. I have the video somewhere, but I'm scared to pull stuff up on here because it keeps freezing. But I have the video somewhere, and it's probably in the archive of my Instagram. So I'll just share my phone because I share my phone in BCEO by just plugging up my screen. But this is the internet. If I plug up my screen and something pops up and now it's on YouTube and YouTube shouldn't have seen it, then I'm going to be terrified. And then I can't have this live as a replay. So I'm going to show you. If you join BCEO or when you join BCEO, I'll show you the wall. And we'll get even deeper into the specific steps that I took in order to make that happen. Right? And so although these results were incredible, it all came down to having a strong list of the right people and then doing what it took to actually build community. Okay? And doing what it took to actually build community. So real quick, before I hop off, I want to talk about why I think email is the easiest way. And I'm going to give you the answer to the question that I asked you earlier. And then I'm going to share how you can join BCEO. Okay, does that sound good? So I'm going to tell you the answer to the question, which is the benefit of building a community, building an email list. And then I'm going to tell you, why email list is the, quickest, in my opinion, and easiest way to build community. And then I'm going to talk to you a little about BCEO. Do I have permission to do that? Say yes if I do. If I don't, I'll just cut the live right now. So do you want me to get into the benefits of community, why email list is the quickest way to build community, and how to do it, and then also share some stuff about Bomb CEO. Put yes or no. Let me see. Yes. Yes. Gigi, I was born in Miami. I was raised in Antigua. It's a Caribbean island. Let me see. Only 2 people say yes. Do y'all want me to share or no? What are we laughing at, Londa? Sierra, yes. Okay. All right. So let's get into it. So why community matters and the power of community, right? Why community matters. If you want to go back to the thumbnail, you can. You can see the screenshot. The stories that I just shared, the screenshot is on the thumbnail for receipts. Okay. For some reason, I can't share my screen. I can't open up a new tab because it freezes. I can only share whatever is on my screen right now, and I don't want it to freeze up again. So you can check out the thumbnail if you want receipts. I also put a receipt on the thumbnail of one of the people that I helped build her email list. And you see on that screenshot, she says that her open rate is something crazy. It's above average because her industry is beauty, and the open rates for beauty is on the lower end, and her open rates was somewhere close to 30%. And she also ended up building her email list. Her initial goal was like 1,000, and we worked together and built it to 3,000 in the same amount of time. Okay. So if you need receipts, go check that out because I got receipts, always got receipts. Okay. So the power of community and why community matters is I'm going to give you 5 different reasons. So write these down, because if you are not focused on building community with one of the easiest and quickest ways being email lists, you need to be. The first is customer loyalty. 84% of people say that being treated like a person versus a number is very important to them. So when you help consumers feel like this, they become loyal to you and your brand. Okay, so the first is customer loyalty. The second is higher engagement. Brands with online communities tend to see more engagement and tend to see people show up for them more. Engagement can look different for you depending on the type of community that you build, but higher engagement. The third is it helps with word of mouth referrals. These are your dedicated cheerleaders. They are going to sell for you. And sometimes they go so hard that they may even get into fights for you. And when I say you, I'm talking about your brand. Have you ever met somebody that went so hard for a brand and you're like, do they got you on payroll or something? It's crazy, but it's because that particular brand built community successfully, and they built it in such a way that that person feels strongly about them. And guess what? The stats show that 92% of people trust referrals from people they know. What does that mean? You could be beating a horse over the head with a stick, but somebody who somebody trusts can come in and hold that stick in their hand, and before they can even hit them over the head with it, the person is already saying, yes, I want to buy it. Why? Because that person trusts that other person. You are a brand, right? At the end of the day, people have to go through a decision phase with you on whether or not they're going to buy from you. But if somebody that they trust, know, love, all the things, has already been there, done that, or they are loyal to your brand and they tell that person who is in the decision phase that, hey, you got to buy this, or that's definitely it. You definitely need that. They're more than likely going to buy it. Okay. Fourth is customer retention. Customer retention. When you build community, you can increase your retention rates by 5 to 10%, which then increase your profits. Because any smart business owner knows that you make more money if you can get your customers to come buy from you again. Okay? I own a bookkeeping and accounting firm. They might fight for my brand, but most folks don't do this and this end of things. I mean, I know a couple of people who will fight for their accountants and their tax people for sure. All right. And then fifth is brand loyalty. Brand loyalty. So customer loyalty, higher engagement, word of mouth referrals, customer retention, brand loyalty. If you are slacking in any of these areas, now you know why. Now you know why. You need to focus on building community. And one of the easiest ways to build community is by building an email list. So when I say email list, I also am referring to SMS as well, because SMS is like the baby email. And so the reason why I say that email is the easiest way to build community is because you have a one-to-one communication with that person, and you can make it one-to-many if you'd like. There's so many different ways that you can set up two-way communication via email, text message, all the things. And you can leverage the fact that you have no noise other than whatever else is in their inbox, but you got no algorithms, no quick distractions, really pulling them from the email. You can leverage that to then direct them where you want them to go if you're building community outside of email lists as well. But it starts with your email list, because guess what? You can send them authentic messages. You can send them more behind the scenes, sneak peeks, all the things that get them feeling as though they are a part of an exclusive society. So in order to grow your email list, you need to do something called PVN, which is present, value, and nurture. This is something that we're going to go in detail to tonight in the session, the strategy session that I'm teaching on Zoom tonight. We're going to go deeper into PVN. I'm going to help you identify what is the value that you can present, and also how you can nurture your audience once they actually join your email list, so that way they remain on your email list and they want to actually keep getting emails from you. I'm going to be fully transparent. I mentioned that my email list is somewhere along the lines of like 22,000-ish, right? We're going through an email cleanup phase. And would you believe if I said over the course of this email has been built from late 2019. So over the course of 4.5 years, right? We only have to shave off a couple of thousand people off the list. The active people who still open our emails are something like 16,000 or something like that. That is an amazing amount of people. That means that they know that there's value there and they want to remain a part of that community. Okay? So grow your email list by providing PVN, present, value, nurture, and in tonight's session on Zoom within BCEO, we are going to build out what your value nugget is, as well as how to nurture those people. You also want to create engaging content. In order to create engaging content, you need to know who it is that you are engaging and create consistent, valuable content that keeps your community engaged, right? And so this can be in the form of a certain type of email you send weekly. This can be in the form of, a type of form or something where you direct them to your email. Or once they're on your email, you're giving them something, daily doses or weekly doses or monthly doses of something. You also want to use success stories of people who have been past clients and who have been in your community. Okay? And then when you talk about SMS, you can do all these things with SMS as well, because SMS is super powerful, but you can send nuggets of information via SMS as well. One of my mentors, she actually sends out certain tips on a daily basis via SMS, except holidays. But every single day you get a daily tip from her via SMS. For that community, it's a paid community. Though she charges people about $35 or something a month to be a part of that. But people sign up for the daily tips that she's giving them. And so talking about paid community is a whole different ball game. But let's talk about how to get them free first. Then we can talk about paid communities, right? That could be part 2 or part 3 of our series inside of BCEO. Okay? So that's that. So now, in order to grow your email list, I said PVN. I'm going to give you 2 different types of PVNs that you can have. One, you can figure out what their biggest pain point is and bottle that up into something that can be valuable for them. That will attract them to your community. 2, you can provide some type of interactive element that hones in on the authenticity of your brand. Okay? And so I just went over the power of community. We talked about how community helped me make $11,000, how it helped me with 100 orders in 1 week, all the things, right? And we literally just talked surface level about community. Like I said, there are many different types of community that you can build. With the $100 orders in 1 week story, I told you how that was built not solely with email lists, but also by building a community on Instagram as well via close friends and DMs and so on and so forth. So it's literally levels to this. And we are going to uncover all of those levels within BCEO because we are doing this in a 3-part series. Community is going to be a 3-part series where we are going to talk about tonight how to build an email list and how to build community on that email list. We'll then talk about how to build community on social platforms. And then we'll talk about how to build paid community. This is going to be the 3-part series that we cover for community. Tonight, we are covering part number 1, okay? And specifically in part number 1 in our session tonight on Zoom, we are going to cover all of the nitty-gritty details that I was not able to go in detail with you here on this live, okay? We are going to talk about how emotional and social connections actually are the psychology behind community and how to tap into that for your audience. We're also going to talk about how you can use email and SMS in relationship with each other so that it's not 2 separate things, but it works together. We are then going to map out email list growth strategies together. They're going to learn the key components of an email list growth strategy. They're also going to learn how to segment their audience, especially if they have multiple personas, how to segment their audience for targeted messaging. We're going to develop what their PVN is. And on the session tonight, we're going to create whatever that value nugget is. We're going to talk about how to promote their email list. So we're going to talk about different social media content to do, how to promote it on your website, how to promote it if you're in person, via collaboration, so on and so forth. And we're going to also talk about how to grow your SMS list and things like that. And I'm going to actively show them examples of text messages and emails that I've sent or that I've sent from my clients. Okay? And so we're going to do all of that. And what's more important is we're actually going to be executing during the session tonight. Okay? How many people would like to join us at the session tonight? The session where you are going to learn how to grow your community via email and text message. How many people? I saw that Sierra said, how do we get access to the Zoom? I'm going to tell you right now, how do you get access to the Zoom is easy. I see me. Well, what if I told you that you could get access to tonight and you can get access to all of the other sessions that I shared in the past 4 weeks where we mapped out your ideal customer in detail, where you learned the foundations of a brand and mapped it out in detail, where we talked about how to actually win week after week through habits and mindset building. And you get access to what's to come because we got a lot of good stuff that's coming up, right? So after tonight, we have part 2 and part 3 of community building. We also have our content series that's coming soon. We then also are talking more about target audience and how to attract them, how to build your customer journey, how to run paid advertising, but then also organic content strategies that will attract your audience as well. And so Bomb CEO is honestly amazing. It is worth way more than what I charge for it. And that is how you can gain access to tonight. So I put the link in the chat. You can go to either bombceo.com or you can click that link and it'll take you directly there. Bomb CEO is my mentorship membership community. We meet weekly for in-depth strategy sessions. We meet for an hour and a half, sometimes 2.5 hours. And we literally go in depth. Okay. So like I said, we talked about a whole lot already and we've only been opened for a month. And they already know their ideal customer profile. They already know their brand fundamental elements. They already know the habits that they need to change. They've already been experiencing wins and it's only been a month. So imagine the massive transformation that you can have by joining Bomb CEO. Not only do you get expert-led sessions from me, right? Or some guest speakers in the future, but I give you action steps to take right now, detailed action steps that you take on the call, and also action-oriented homework to make sure that you're actually doing what it is that you need to do to get to where you want to go. Not only that, but you have a community. The women in there, they all have business besties. They've coupled up and they have business besties to hold themselves accountable on the days where we're not meeting live because we meet every Thursday night. And so sometimes they need a little push. That's what their business bestie is for. We then also have personalized coaching that you get. So we actually have an audit session happening next week where you're going to be able to submit your content and emails and things like that for audit. And I am going to give you feedback on it, right? You get personalized coaching. So a lot of people always ask me or always say, oh, I want to work with you one-on-one. This honestly is better because there's something about this group dynamic and community dynamic that just makes you want to go harder. There's also this saying that when you work as a group, you accomplish things faster. So somebody may ask a question that you was hesitating to ask or you didn't think to ask because maybe you're not at that level yet or you're not in the right headspace. And then you get 10 times as much clarity because this person asked that question. You also get the support of people who are on the same path as you, driving towards the same goals. They're like-minded women. These women, they don't play around. Not only that, but you get access to the brand resource library, which are templates, quick tutorials, and things like that to help you get quick wins within your brand and business. Some of them are insider trainings where you get to see how I train my team and how I map out certain things within my business. Okay? And so, y'all, let me tell you, Bomb CEO is everything that I wanted it to be and more. It's everything that I wanted to be and more, and it's everything that you need to get you from where you're at to where you want to be. So if you found that this live was a wake-up call and you're like, okay, I need to work on that. I need to build community. I need to be more specific about who I'm targeting. I need to know how to even reach them. You know what? I need to be in this type of mindset, this winning mindset, this go-get-it mindset, more than when Chanel just decides to randomly go live on YouTube. I need to get this every day. I need a dose of this every day because if I had a dose of this every day, I would be making 6 figures or multi-6 figures by now. If that's you on the other side of the screen, then you might as well join Bomb CEO. And I can't tell you how many people hit us up via email and DM saying, when is your mentorship opening back? When is it opening back? A lot of you will let opportunities pass by you and then come when it's too late. But then when you have the opportunity in front of you, now you make all of the excuses in the world. Bomb CEO opened up weeks ago and it has been closed for weeks. We're opening it up again for just 3 days. Okay, 3 days. You either got payday today or tomorrow. So before you go out and you spend it on food or hookah or anything like that, just take the $97 and invest in a month worth of education, of mindset trainings, of habit building that will get you closer to your goals than that meal ever will, or than that hookah purchase ever will. So just think about that, right? It's a mindset shift. You are who you surround yourself with, and you are the decisions that you make today. Okay? So I hope that tonight was helpful. Gigi said, join in now. I can't wait to see you in there, Gigi. What questions do we have? Quick questions. I delayed my call to finish this lesson for y'all. Every time I say something is gonna be quick, I end up giving y'all more. And do we have any quick questions? Chocolate Journalist says, what does PVN stand for again? Present, value, nurture. Handmade House says, is this something for a new small business? As long as you're serious. So the thing about Bomb CEO is I push a lot for you to execute. So if you've been lazy with, getting this business off the ground and you need that push and you're going to be serious about it, then come on in. Join Bomb CEO. But just know the minute you join, we're about to slap a launch date onto that thing. And we need to make sure that you are good to go and ready to go. But yes, it's helpful because you get a lot of information. You get a lot of information that people wish they had in the launch phase. So as long as you're dedicated, you're good. So we have one or two members in there right now that are actually in the launch phase, and this has been extremely helpful to her. So definitely. Any other questions? Is this live or recorded? This is live. This is live, but it is recorded. Any other questions for me about anything we covered today or about Bomb CEO? Let me scroll up. Is SMS good as well? Okay, I answered that. Natasha said, did you build that from YouTube or multiple social media platforms? The email list, it's through a lot of different strategies. It's not YouTube. I built my YouTube community on YouTube. Some of my YouTube community do cross over onto my email list, but it's not solely from pushing on YouTube. No, it's multiple different things. And I'm actually thinking, I'm actually, working on segmenting my audience, because I asked people where they learn about me from and all that type of stuff and how they got to the list. So we're actually working on segmenting that to get true numbers of where everyone came from. But I can guarantee it's not all YouTube. It's also not all social media. It's just a matter of community building. There's so many different strategies to use and ways. Sierra, how do we get access to the Zoom? By joining Bomb CEO. If you join Bomb CEO, we have a calendar. Once you join, you get to see the Zoom link and everything for tonight is in the calendar. You get immediate access to all of the replays. So when you join, it's a dashboard. And there's a part that says replays, and all of the replays that we had are in there, as well as some bonus replays. Then there's a brand resource library. All of the bonuses that we've already given are in there. You're going to see a challenge area. We have our first challenge coming up next month. So you'll see that area there. And then you see the main feed and you see the calendar. And the calendar will have past events as well as the event for this week. And then tonight you'll see the event pop up for next week. So you can add it to calendar, so on and so forth. But we meet Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern time every single week. And if you miss it, it's fine because we record it. But if you're live, it's 10 times better, because when I tell you every time, and it's only been a month, they're like, oh my gosh, Chanel, like you gave me what I needed. Like this provided so much clarity. I am so like literally like action steps are being taken on the call. So I love that. You're welcome. And Sierra, I believe I answered that question already. So I hope to see you within Bomb CEO. It's open for just 3 days. It's only $97 a month. That's less than $4 a day. And it is a combination of the skill set, the knowledge, the habit set, and the mindset you need to get you to 6 figures and multi-6 figures. It's all about creating a profitable brand, building a sustainable business so that way you can reach your goals and be level-headed while doing so, and live an abundant life while doing so, because I truly do believe in that. I believe that hard work pays off, and I believe in an abundant way of living. I don't do anything small. I like to do everything big. So with that being said, I don't believe in shortchanging yourself or shortchanging your dreams. So if you are that same type of person, if that is how you want to live your life, if you are on board with me, then you need to join Bomb CEO and become my mentee within my community, okay? So I'll see you within Bomb CEO, and I'll talk to y'all whenever the next time is, or tonight. I'll talk to y'all tonight in Bomb CEO, okay? Yes, Handmade House says I'm joining because why not? Why not? And just like any subscription, if you join and it's not for you, you can leave next month. But I guarantee that if you are the type of person who you are serious about your goals, who you are going to do the work, who you are not going to make excuses, even if you need a little pep talk from time to time, that's okay. But as long as you are committed, this is the place for you. If you liked this live here today, how I teach, imagine how it'll be when I actually get to interact with you on a more intimate level and I get to learn more about you, your brand, all the things. And I also share more about my personal life in there too. So they get to hear all the things that I got going on. Like last week when I came back from Dubai, I came back on Wednesday and then we had our session on Thursday, and some of the ladies were like, okay, well, how did you plan that trip? How did you afford it? I always wanted to go to Dubai. Do you think it's a great place to go for my birthday? Like, what hotels do you recommend? How can we make that money to get there? Like, how much was the flight? Because we flew in the highest class possible on the plane at the time, which was business class. All the things. We had those conversations. We talked pictures. We talked how to develop their life. Because honestly, I believe that entrepreneurship is a lifestyle. It's not just strategy. You can learn all the strategy in the world, but if you don't have the habits, the lifestyle, the mindset to support the strategies that you're learning, it's not going to work. It's not going to work, or you are going to end up like literally crashing and burning. So that is what Bomb CEO is about. And that's why the name is Bomb CEO, because if you want to be a Bomb CEO, it's about checking the box on all of those things. So I'll see y'all inside Bomb CEO, and ciao.